Hello everyone. A friend of mine who was at the Naval Academy told me a story from back in 1990 where he was at a class. I don't remember what the class was about, I'd have to ask him, but they were talking about the rules of engagement. And the professor asked the question, why doesn't the United States military shoot first? And the class, different members gave different answers. Geopolitical, political, tactical, whatever. A friend raised his hand and said, because we're the good guys. And that's the answers that was accepted. And, there was an explanation that went with this, that, talked about if we're going to be an example to the world, we can't do things that suck. And I'm not saying that the United States military is or ever has been the paragon of virtue. But what I am saying is that this simple answer is indicative of something we've very much lost. And it's not a state of grace that never existed. There never was a golden age. But if you look at what it does to someone to say, we're the good guys so we don't do X, Y, and Z. It creates a self-reinforcing standard of behavior. If you want your soldiers to shoot less people, if you want your police officers to beat fewer suspects, or if you want your people to steal less stuff, create a standard of behavior that prohibits such things. Well, it won't solve everything, but it will make it much easier to prevent a lot of cases from happening. I'm sorry, this is very, very difficult for me to say. It's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. But what we are seeing now is a nation. What we are now is a nation where we no longer think of ourselves as the good guys. It's not, we don't do that because we're the good guys. It's, we're protecting us, so it's okay, whatever it is. We're a nation of, it's okay when we do it. We're a nation of, fuck you, I've got mine. If I get a profit, if I get by, if I get food on my table, who cares what happens to anybody else? And again, I'm not saying we were ever a wonderful, happy, horseshit nation of do-gooders. But, at least some of us tried. At least that was the story. I'm not saying the story in itself was valuable. I'm saying that the way our behavior was modified to be just a little bit better rather than compliant, to be a bit kinder rather than aggressive, to be protective rather than predatory, just as individuals. See, now talk about Bradley Manning, all right? People are talking about, well, I don't know if his conduct is so bad. 30 years ago, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Where it's, okay, do we torture him or do we shoot him, is the conversation I'm hearing now. All right? Or, well, the little stuff we're doing, that's not torture. We did a lot of worse than that to detainees in Afghanistan and Guantanamo Bay. I can't even fucking believe. I can, but it boggles my fucking mind that this is a question. Okay, in the movie, in one of the Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon movies, he's tortured with electric shock. Okay? And it used to be that torture was a way of identifying the bad guys. That torturing someone with electric shock was, the next worst thing to physical disfigurement or maiming. And now, don't tase me, bro. Do you really want to stand for this? Do you really, really want to leave this nation as the nation that wet its fucking pants and then started firing nearly indiscriminately after 9/11? Do you really want to be the generation that let the redeemable stuff about this country go? Alright? I think it was Sinclair Lewis who said that when fascism comes to America, it will come carrying the cross and draped in the flag. Alright? And people are saying it's coming, or wake up, there's their mind control lasers and, the HARP and other bullshit like that. No, it's here. It's been here for a while. If you want to know what American fascism looks like, look at CNN, where there are like one or two people they can get to talk about, well, maybe it's not okay to torture Bradley Manning, or maybe WikiLeaks publishing secrets about governments and corporations all over the world is a good thing. Doing what investigative journalists are supposed to do. And I know people are going to take issue with this, but I want you to think of the totality of all the things I'm talking about. And you may have one or two hot button issues, but think about how all these things go hand in hand: a deference to authority, an unwillingness to tolerate those who question, a celebration of power and might makes right, and the deification of success and wealth, and the condemnation of the poor and weak. This is what we are now. Do you want to stand for this? Because we're still in the very early, you might say we're in the bottom half of the ninth inning. We're very, very near the end game here. And obviously these things will not stand forever, because we still got another economic collapse coming, because the financial reform didn't do shit except make the rich richer. But if you get involved, you can help determine what happens. Think about it. Thank you for your time and attention.